I always knew that this is what I wanted to do. I always knew that I was blessed with a talent, a God-given talent to sing and to entertain people. And it just took time to develop it and to grow into my own. But ultimately, I knew that this is something that I wanted to do. And my mother, being my manager, was definitely the motivating force that just pushed and made me want to, even take it to just continue to excel.
Usher Raymond is radically different from your average gunslinging R&B hip-hopper on the street, for he delivers messages of love and lust over the most compelling rhythm tracks and consciously strives to take the music to another level, a wider arena of appreciation, without ever diluting his message or the art of urban music. He's clever, astute, prodigiously talented, fascinating and completely individual. Singular, distinctive and unpredictable, Usher has soared from being one of urban music's hottest and best-kept secrets and crossed over to mainstream pop success. As with all the best pop stars, he gives good copy and is never less than colourful and interesting. He is undoubtedly one of the most thrilling and brightest talents to have emerged in modern music during the past decade. The cutest face in R&B has subverted the genre and twisted it into new and exciting shapes, eschewing formulaic posturing and lover-man bravado for something altogether more substantial, dense and innovative. He keeps on developing at a rate of knots, pushing himself to new heights with every new release. He enjoys the respect of his peers and is seen as a totemic figure for the whole scene. There is seemingly nothing he cannot put his protean talent to, whether it be singing, songwriting or acting. His capacity for assimilating and absorbing new ideas, influences and concepts is exhausting. He is determined to achieve everything he wants to achieve and then some. His musicianship, credibility, dignity and reputation for ruffling feathers in the music and showbiz community all point towards a gargantuan, explosive, creative force, a dynamo which never settles for the comfortable or safe, but instead reaches for the highest and the best. Usher is quite simply one of the most inventive, affecting and unorthodox musicians working today. He combines a sleek urban sensibility with a sense of outrage and a gift for melody, which leaves his contemporaries in his wake. He's hungry for success and is spurred on by an insatiable appetite for creativity. Where others shy from seeking out the new, the adventurous and the barrier-breaking, Usher devotes his artistic life to pursuing the beyond the pale, the pigeonhole transgressing. He is odd, unsettling, elusive, and magnificently forthright. All of his output is driven by fidelity to the truth as he sees it, and to him the true and the personal are indivisible. To get at this personal truth, Usher has ruthlessly stripped his artistic language down to its raw basics. The urgency of his message, the almost bluesy rawness of form and delivery, the unique ambience of muffled drums and soul-bearing vocals all remind us that his personal issues invariably infect and feed into his art. Even when crude, confused or vituperative, Usher is always magnetic, a commanding performer. There is simply nobody else around with his degree of presence. In his music you'll find a series of visual, auditory and tactile sensations which mingle to convey the artist's immersion in his impressions. His sense of self is always highly developed and to the fore, while he is passionately at the mercy of his feelings and assumptions. He reacts, expresses, observes and reports. Listening to Usher in the expectation of a simple lyrical common sense and a supportively orderly musical backdrop with a straightforward sugar-sweet message is bound to produce incomprehension. For Usher, fidelity to experience, to the way things feel rather than what the mind makes of them in recollection, is paramount. Because of this, some see him as an eccentric self-dramatizer. But there is very little trace of self-regard or wanton posturing in his records. He simply possesses wide-open senses and a strong temperament. Life to him is a wonderful enigma, an almost continuous theatrical performance. In his work, he is merely being himself rather than indulging himself. Usher's artistry is sensitive to detail, coloristic and bursting with nuance, reflecting the way reality appears to him. Either you accept this on its own terms, or you must seek elsewhere for a more stable and objective type of art. Nowhere is this more applicable than on the mature album Confessions. This 19-track powerhouse is a treasure trove of slushy, heartfelt balladry and incendiary rhymes, every tiny detail of the vocal performances and arrangements registering its expressive message. A perfect balance of form and expression, of emotional drama, humorous vivacity, and pure chutzpah. This is, by any standard, one of the essential modern rhythm and blues albums. At times, his thought is so pure as to be vanishingly elliptical. This effect is created as he shifts between different levels of meaning. At the lowest, he is bearing witness to the worst. At the highest, he is singing almost of religious fervour. He appears to have spent his time on the sidelines, absorbing the sermons of Oprah and getting in touch with his feminine side. Flawed though he may be, Usher stands proudly at the pinnacle of the pop game because he isn't afraid to take risks, alienate people, and do his own thing. His impact in inspiring mindfulness and self-determination among his audience may be blemished by confusion arriving from his personal conflicts, but there is no individualism without risk. His wider influence on the pop industry outweighs any undue turmoil he may have caused. As for his artistry, the verdict is complicated by the difficulty of defining what type of artist he is. It is further muddled by comparisons with others, for example Timberlake and the Neptunes, whose methods and assumptions are almost entirely different from his. What's clear is that he wields a pivotal influence in today's musical climate and beyond, from the gossip pages to the teen magazines and the black music scene in general. Usher's music is direct but subtle, playful but fiercely intelligent, accessible but unconventional. It confronts vital issues and defies trends and expectation. At its hottest, it represents a state of mind different from ordinary reality, a magical vision in which opposites and contradictions can be reconciled. His message is that love and relationships can be worked out and can overcome the most daunting of obstacles. Anyone who doesn't believe in scorching soul music pouring from the heart can make their excuses and leave. The rest of us can cherish those tingle-flooded perfect moments when something is surprisingly, vivaciously, exactly right and true. The understanding that, every now and then, some people aren't going to let us down, are going to inspire and amaze and make everything all right. Usher does this again and again, lobbing new possibilities at us with dizzying grace. He's one of the most ravishing fireworks you'll ever witness. Even if, more often than not, he might end up spiralling over the neighbour's fence. When everything works, he hints at what it's like to be the greatest pop artist on the planet. Usher's records are timeless, sparse opuses of intrigue, wonder, sex, lust and abandon. The world they portray can be very cold indeed, and the comfort they offer can be as sparse as the measured, melancholy funk of his sonic palette. But it's comfort nonetheless. Something buried so deep in the music that maybe those of us who've never seen the things he's seen can't really get to grips with it. Never bombastic or needlessly provocative, these songs never lose their mood of gentle insistence. From beginning to end, like all the finest hip-hop and R&B, they trickle like cold quicksilver. They feel deft and spare, which is curious, as these aren't minimal albums. They're deeply funky in a way that we take for granted today, when urban music is required either to slam or noodle on forever in soporific displays of technique. All of Usher's finest music contains no extra flesh, nothing is wasted. There is nothing but pure soul and feeling embedded in his grooves. There is opulence, bravura, playfulness, irony, melancholy, and redemption in all of them. The artist known as Usher Raymond continues to inspire, astonish, upset, sneer, console, and transport in equal measures. He is a maverick in a musical environment that currently actively rewards complacency and cowardice.
I mean, didn't you just love Michael Jackson when he played the wolf and how he was able to articulate himself through the dance movement? You know, imagine Thriller, the song, without a visual, You know, you listen to this song on the radio, and it's like, well, how does this go with anything, you know, other than Halloween? And I'm pretty sure the record wasn't released during Halloween, but, you know, that visual was so amazing.
Usher Raymond was born in 1979 in Chattanooga, Tennessee. Music was in his bones from day one, passed on by his indomitable single-parent mother, Janetta Patton. As a child, he listened to the latest urban sounds from her radio and stereo system and soon developed an affinity for singing and performing. He began singing at the age of 6 years old, joining the local church gospel choir at the behest of his mother. She was keen for her child to embrace the community and religious aspect of the choir experience, as well as develop his own voice. She was fiercely determined that young Usher should take every opportunity available to him, instilling a sense of self-pride which would prove invaluable in later years. Usher proved himself to be an excellent singer in the church, where he was regarded as a future star. Janetta, Usher and his younger brother James moved from Chattanooga to Atlanta, Georgia, when Usher was 12 years old. Upon moving to Atlanta, Usher embarked upon the local talent show circuit, gaining a promising reputation as a singer and dancer. Schooled in gospel and old-school soul and rhythm and blues, but equally seduced by the slamming rhythms and sharp wordplay of hip-hop culture, he became entranced by the possibilities of making music. In 1992, his first break came when he was spotted at a local talent show by Bryant Reed, the brother of Antonio L.A. Reed, the legendary producer and co-president of LaFace Records. Bryant Reed was immediately knocked out by his precocious talent and mature demeanour on stage. He knew he was onto something and didn't want to waste time while someone else might get in on the act. He arranged for Usher to audition for Antonio Reed, and the famed R&B expert was instantly taken with the young singer's verve, confidence, technique and soulful delivery. This teenager had a swagger and an irrepressible aura around him that suggested he had enormous potential. Reed saw in him a rawness that could be tamed and streamlined for a massive audience. His voice was unusually expressive and powerful for someone his age. Legend in the record industry has it that Usher was offered a record contract on the spot. He was amazed and dumbfounded by this level of interest and wasted no time in signing his first recording deal with LaFace Records. Young Usher Raymond would be introduced to an unsuspecting world as Usher, the new kid on the block, the face and voice of a million dreams and fantasies. He was still at school, but was now earmarked as the hottest new thing in black pop music, even before cutting a solitary single. It was surreal, terribly exciting, glamorous, and not a little terrifying. But he was ready for it.
Yeah, man, you might catch me in your local spot having a good time. For me, it's free-flowing fun, man. 25 is beautiful.
On the 30th of August 1994, Usher's self-titled debut album was unleashed on the eardrums of an unsuspecting public. The record, which was co-executive produced by Sean Puffy Combs and Antonio Reed, spawned the minor hit single Think of You, which gained him some notoriety and reached gold status. Think of You is a beautiful swaying dance song produced with sensitivity and love by Donald Jones. Being just a raw teenager himself, Usher initially struggled with the making of the tracks for his debut. As a result, the production team hired several voice coaches to assist their dazzling protege in the completion of this disc. Their efforts were not in vain, as Usher's work on the final product sounds astonishingly fresh, inspired and soulful. The Usher album is a record that celebrates the undeniable black soul power of post-New Jack Swing music, an era that saw the rise of acts like Mary J. Blige, Jodeci, SWV and R. Kelly. It is an adventurous, crisply produced effort which hits all the right buttons and moves the listener to a state of yearning and hypnosis. It is a must-hear for folks who enjoy the early 90s R&B sound. Produced by Al B. Shaw, Puffy and Jodeci's Devante Swing, and featuring shimmering background vocals by sultry diva Faith Evans, it is plush, lush, velvety, with something for everyone. By turns mysterious, dark, smooth and emotional, it remains a compelling listen from beginning to end. Usher sings every line with an authority and attitude far beyond his years. Among its many virtues is the top-quality production work, which was ignored amidst the hype surrounding the main man at the time. As the record didn't make the crossover to the mainstream audience, this aspect of the album was overlooked. Throughout the album, you get nothing but treats, from the sweetest jams to the most tender of love letters and the smoothest funk. The startling Can You Get With It is an early winner, featuring extremely risque lyrics for a minor. The Many Ways borrows heavily from Al B. Sure's work with another teen prodigy, Tevin Campbell, in particular Alone With You from his first record. Brian Alexander Morgan's contribution, Crazy, is impeccably written, produced and arranged with a deftness of touch. The urgent Love Was Here is an extraordinary piece of music with Faith Evans excelling on backing vocals, but it is Devante's masterwork, Whispers, that really kicks the album into another gear entirely. It caresses the listener with an insidious, loping beat and an exquisite atmosphere that easily matches anything recorded by Jodeci. Throughout the album, Usher comes on like an amalgam of little Tevin Campbell, Tony Thompson of High Five, and even at times Ginuwine, particularly on Can You Get With It. He delivers his mini-dramas with a minimum of fuss and pretension. The sinewy funk grooves, creamy rich backing vocals, meandering tunes, pastel melodies, falsetto choruses, off-centre production and bizarrely brilliant lead vocals of a school kid all conspire to create something utterly unique, soulful, spine-tingling and inventive. Soul never sounded so refreshing and loin-ticklingly hungry. By contrast, the likes of R. Kelly sound kidnapped and lobotomised. The record industry weren't slow in praising this bewildering new talent, hailing Usher as a brilliant artist for now and for the future. The album received a slew of positive reviews from the music press. From this initial exposure, he was approached to do other projects. He recorded a national holiday jingle for Coca-Cola in 1995 and hooked up with several leading male R&B singers to form Black Men United for the single You Will Know, which cropped up on the soundtrack for the film Jason's Lyric. In addition, he collaborated with teen singing sensation Monica for a duet remake of Latimore's Let's Straighten It Out. Usher Raymond was truly the hottest thing in pop music, and this was just the beginning of the hype, the expectation, the drama, and the supernova success.
Music is just an evolution of life, man. Every situation that has ever happened in life, you can attach it to a song. Every situation. Every moment that you've had, every down, depressing moment that you had, there's a song that you can affiliate it with.
Having graduated from high school, Usher returned to the fray with his second album, entitled My Way. Released in September 1997, it was trailed by the awesome smash hit single You Make Me Wanna, which created eager anticipation for the album and made him the hottest crossover sensation. This impassioned love song was an instant juggernaut, hovering at or near the top of the Billboard's R&B singles charts from the moment of its release. It eventually spent considerable time in the number 2 position on the pop chart, second only to Elton John's remake of Candle in the Wind, achieved double platinum status and topped the R&B charts for 11 straight weeks. Usher proved he had a strong, soulful voice with his debut, but he clearly fulfilled all his potential second time out. My Way offers a step forward, illustrates the artistic maturation he had undergone since the first album, and proves that the teenage crooner had won over the hearts of legions of fans. In an attempt to display this maturity, Usher got to co-write 6 of the 9 songs and roped in a stellar production team consisting of Jermaine Dupri, Babyface, Puffy and Doogie Williams. He also enlisted the help of engineers Phil Tan, Rob Williams and Manny Marroquin. The album also features the like of Manuel Seal, Greg Phalangenes, Nathan East, Randy Walker, Jagged Edge, Trey Lorenz, Shanice Wilson, Trina Broussard and Lil' Kim. My Way was recorded at Somewhere in College Park, Georgia, Sony Studios in New York, Brandon's Way Recordings in Los Angeles and Future Studios in Virginia Beach, Virginia. Usher actually spent 6 months living at Jermaine Dupri's house while cutting the album, during which time they bounced ideas off each other and developed a genuine mutual musical and personal understanding. This period also helped Dupri realise the artistic growth Usher was experiencing in his life. Unleashed a full 3 years after his debut, My Way is a stunning tour de force, a work which destroys preconceptions and only fuels the Usher myth. Here he returns with a newly sophisticated, seductively smooth sound and a palpable sense of self-confidence. What remains so appealing about his soulful crooning and sexy whisper, however, is a youthful vibrancy and honesty. This unpretentious approach is felt throughout the record in the simple, clean production, especially on tracks like Bedtime, which features particularly plangent backing vocals by Shanice Wilson. Funkier tracks include the title cut and the classic Just Like Me. The title cut is a colossal R&B tinged song, endearingly lacking the slightest hint of humility. From this day forth, you know I'm all about heat, and what I do be the major league. That's why your girlfriend's paging me. What separates Usher on this record from his urban loverman peers is the fact that he doesn't oversing. He simply delivers the material soulfully and directly with no excess. Both Dupri and Babyface contribute seamless productions and fine songs. You Make Me Wanna and Bedtime being their best ballad contributions. Even if the ballads are gorgeous, seductive and romantic, cuts like Just Like Me, featuring a barnstorming cameo from Lil' Kim, and Come Back, make for essential booty-shaking intensity. Just Like Me is off the chain, effortlessly mixing R&B and rap over a slinky, slow but upbeat rhythm track. Foul-mouthed rap sex kitten Lil' Kim's raps are what make this album bear the explicit advisory sticker. I Will is a massive loverman anthem. Slow Jam, a remake of a 1983 ballad, hypnotises the listener with its languid crawl and Monica's vocals. And You Will Be Mine makes imaginative use of a sample from the Isley Brothers' Footsteps in the Dark. Musically, My Way is consistently strong, rich, unsettling, creative, insistent and unpredictable, taking in a variety of unexpected shifts, twists and left-field turns. The formula is a simple, though hardly hackneyed one, with a variety of mood and style and texture that never threatens to overshadow the innate quality of the songwriting or the piercing clarity of the arrangements. Usher is of course centre stage, but his sterling work is always underpinned by outstanding musicianship and production. This is a record of its time, a time where real heartfelt music is alive in the state of bliss and long lost in space, seeking out new possibilities and exploring fresh terrain. The spine-tingling sensation one experiences from the best soul music is very much in evidence here. Both of the follow-up singles, Nice and Slow and My Way, also went platinum. The former was a number one on the R&B charts for a total of 8 weeks and became his first number one pop hit. The promo video for Nice and Slow achieved waves of critical acclaim. Directed by esteemed hip-hop director Hype Williams, this Paris-set video features an intense romantic storyline that almost rivals the song itself. Usher was officially recognised for his musical contribution when he picked up the 1997 Soul Train Award for Best R&B Single by a Male for You Make Me Wanna. It also received a nomination for the 1998 Grammys for Best Male R&B Vocal Performance, whilst the My Way album was nominated for the 1998 Grammys for Best Male R&B Vocal Performance. He also won the Entertainer of the Year gong at the 1998 Billboard Awards and an American Music Award in 1999. My Way shifted an amazing 7 million units. Usher appeared on records by Jermaine Dupri and Debrat Cameron, DJ Lil Les and Mariah Carey throughout 1998 and 1999. One of the few blemishes on his track record arrived at the Grammy Awards ceremony, where he inadvertently introduced folk rock legend and Album of the Year award winner Bob Dylan as Bill Dylan before a massive worldwide audience. However, with My Way, Usher was now operating on another level entirely, enjoying the fame, adulation, respect and creative freedom of his near-perfect life.
know what? I'm looking at TV and I noticed that every performance is built off of shock value. What about the entertainment of it? Where in the hell is the entertainment going? Do you have to shock people?
In the meantime, pop's hottest prodigy set about spreading his wings and exploring other territories to conquer. He launched an acting career, appearing on The Oprah Winfrey Show and featuring as a recurring character on the syndicated television show Moshe, starring pop songstress Brandy. He turned up on numerous episodes as the character Jeremy Davis, a boarding school student romantically involved with the programme's protagonist. He dipped his toes into cinema acting with appearances in the 1998 horror spoof The Faculty, She's All That, and the 1999 urban high school drama Light It Up. While branching out into acting, Usher tided his fans over with the release of a live album in 1999, simply entitled Live. Released a year and a half after My Way, this album displays Usher's skills in all their glory. Razor-sharp raps, sultry vocals, mellifluous songs, an impeccable musicality, and a devotion to the groove. Primarily based around My Way, it offers a combination of a great sound quality and the feel of a great live show. Live albums often feel like a way to buy time while an artist figures out what to do next, but there is no question that this entry is a triumph in itself and not merely second-rate fan club fodder. Usher sustains a controlled excellence throughout, punctuating every syllable and beat with a resounding energy and a lascivious, sex-soaked intelligence. It oozes soul, charisma, urgency and power. The live album was released in May 1999, taken from concerts in Chattanooga, Tennessee, between October the 22nd and 23rd, 1998. Hardcore fans will savour the unexpected Bobby Brown medley, since it doesn't appear on any studio record. His renditions of Don't Be Cruel and Every Little Step are imbued with total conviction and unashamed love. This is as much a homage as a nod to one of his chief influences. Ronnie, Piano Lude, Bedtime, Nice and Slow, Tender Love, Think of You, Just Like Me and My Way are among the record's numerous high points. Usher resolved to improve his abilities as a showman and a performer, and so concentrated on taking his musical skills to the next level. He toured with Puffy and the Family on their No Way Out tour, and hit the US with Mary J. Blige. In addition, he was the opening act on Janet Jackson's Velvet Rope tour. Now the time was right to focus on working on his next project, his third proper album. Originally slated for a release in late 2000 or early 2001, the album was titled All About You and featured 15 new compositions. Initial copies were delivered under the original title, but the plug was pulled on a proper release because significant chunks of the material were already being swapped on the file-sharing operation Napster. Usher returned to the studio and reworked 8 of the album's songs. Released in August 2001 and now retitled 8701, the new record moved him from a teen pop idol to a sultry R&B singer par excellence. This saw him assuming more control of the operation, developing his production, singing and songwriting skills to a new level, and taking responsibility for 12 of the writing credits across the 17 tracks. As well as engaging up-to-the-minute sonic architects like Shakespeare and the Neptunes, he relies on skillful, solid, established producers like Jermaine Dupri and Babyface to help mould the new, maturing sound. Gone are the teen pop vibes of My Way, and here is a classy record that pushes the envelope that bit further as he co-writes and co-produces an album that reflects his emotional experience. Half of the new re-recorded tunes are written by R&B titans like Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis and the Neptunes. Jam and Lewis supply him with bedroom grooves like Twerk It Out that hint at a modern-day Marvin Gaye, while ubiquitous producers to the stars, the Neptunes, liven up their monochromatic hip-hop grooves with soaring choruses on I Don't Know and You Don't Have to Call. The new songs are actually so good, in fact, that several of the old ones suffer by comparison, although Dupri's hard-rocking and intense I Can't Let You Go is a notable exception. And it's too bad that the cover of Biz Markie's Just a Friend didn't make the final selection. The enigmatically titled 8701 is bursting with kinetic slow groove beats, lachrymose acoustic guitar ballads, blatant bedroom seduction, sultry melancholy and generous dollops of charisma and vocal acumen. Catchy as hell hooks are intertwined with emotive vocals and sumptuous arrangements, while Usher revs up his sex quotient and unleashes a winning blend of street-honed jams and passionate love songs. It exhibits his uncanny ability to create head-nodding music that gets the listener mouthing the lyrics right along with him. Focused, sprawling and immediate, this is most definitely not an R&B record designed by committee, but one with a sense of personal vision at work, a seriousness of intent. His expert delivery cannot be denied, and his range across the heartwarming ballad Can You Help Me and hip-hop pop in I Don't Know is both extensive and impressive. With such a huge repertoire, he sets himself up as a bona fide pop star for the 21st century. Full of soul and controlled intensity, these songs are instant classics. Thoughtful, sensitive ballads meshed together with dance floor shaking tunes that vibrate, shiver and shudder even to the last, and offer up plenty of sincere passion to spare. Usher's confessional influences resound clearly on this album. Several collaborations with veterans Jam and Lewis sound like bona fide Janet Jackson productions. Even the album packaging recalls Janet's The Velvet Rope. Jam and Lewis stamp their authority and distinctive style all over cuts like the stirring organic Twerk It Out and the exquisite Can You Help Me, complete with finger-snap drum programming and piano-based melodies. The former displays nearly every misogynistic cliché in hip-hop and reworks them, yet Usher injects his sex with a warm vulnerability that eludes the like of Genuine and R. Kelly. How Do I Say ruminates on an emotionally and culturally induced language barrier, and even intimates at a risque bilingual interaction, but, thankfully, he never descends into predictable attempts at come hither Spanglish. The Neptunes lure out the other Jackson in Usher, bolstering falsetto vocal bridges on I Don't Know and You Don't Have to Call that bear the unmistakable stamp of pop royalty. Likewise, acoustic guitar work, live drums by Stockley of mint condition, and a cameo by the law-bashing P. Diddy, If Making Hits is a Crime, I Plead Guilty, also lend a surprising amount of diversity to what could have been a one-trick pony. Take the superb You Remind Me. Its instantly recognisable hook and admirable dissection of conflicted emotional terrain. I relayed her ignorance to you, wish I knew how to separate the two. Hits the spot every time, making it one of the savoury hits of the summer, satiating the man on the street and the fashionista alike. Twerk It Out is irrepressible, accommodating a guitar-influenced beat and the most maddening hook of the year. The sublime If I Want To features Jermaine Dupri and utilises an inspired sample of Notorious B.I.G. amidst the rampantly chauvinistic lyrical content. If I want to, I can take you from your man. But it's with a sense of insecurity and vulnerability rather than outright bragging. With You is just 50 seconds long, but leaves you gasping for more, whereas Can You Help Me sees Usher step out of his egotistic persona to deliver the most personal song of his career. You Got It Bad deals with the spectre of lost love with honesty, sensitivity, sweat and raw beats. Everything that used to matter don't matter anymore. My money, my car. He sings with feeling and conviction. He laces his fluid delivery with the verbal twists of street rap on the funky call and response of Pop Your Collar, for example, or the ode to lovemaking, Twerk It Out. Pop Your Collar is immense, complete with a rib-shaking bass line and grueling intensity of expression. On this street-geared anthem of self-assurance and bravura, he brings the subtext of the cut alive with no little attitude. He warns, "To all you haters, I got something to say. You can eat it or throw it away. Doesn't matter because you're falling in my tracks. So can you dig that?" In less than 5 minutes, Usher, Shakespeare and Candy, who wrote the track, show exactly what today's soul sounds like, feels like and has become. Utterly wicked, sensual and innovative. It catches you, grabs on and won't let go.